Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you? So okay? All right. Okay, today we're going to finish up the chapter on the definite integral. We're going to finish up the consumer surplus, producer surplus. And then I will go back to discuss two concepts, two concepts that we have not done yet. The first will be elasticity. Okay, that is on the derivative elasticity. I forgot. In fact, that one I forgot to do. And then the other one is on the Lagrangian multiplier on partial derivative. That I plan, if we don't have time, we don't cover. But I think I will do that. Okay, so that is our plan for today. So let's continue with the discussion from last class. Now we were talking about the consumer surplus. Now, is this our notes? I was not sure. Is it your class or is it the other class? The example on the rice, is it with you or the other class? Kita punya ke ataupun bukan? If it is not, then I will have to open up the other one.
Yes, sir.
Betul yang ni
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I have labeled. Okay, so we have discussed already the idea. Okay, the consumer surplus. That is the additional benefit or gain to the consumers by buying the equilibrium quantity at the market price. So the additional gain is the area under the demand curve and above the market price. In other words, the area between the demand and the equilibrium price. So this will be given by consumer surplus, yes, equal to the integral from x0 to xe, the equilibrium quantity, one function dx minus the integral of pe dx from 0 to xe. So that is consumer surplus. Correct? Okay. Now next is the producer surplus. Now similarly, the producer surplus will be what? would be the area here, the area between the equilibrium price, PE, and the supply function. So that would be the producer supplies. So now I put it that line. So the area here between the equilibrium price and the supply function is the producer supplies. Now the idea is that producer supplies is what? Is the additional gain, right? The additional gain to the firms by selling the equilibrium quantity at the market price. So the idea is the same as the consumer supply. So let's discuss about the producer supply. So producer supply is the extra gain or benefit, okay, or benefit to the firms or the sellers, okay, firms or sellers by selling the equilibrium price XE at the market price PE. Right, so the additional gain would be the area between the demand function, not the demand function, the market price, PE, and the supply function. And that would be equal to the integral from 0 to XE PE dx minus the integral from 0 to XE supply function dx. So that is the producer supplies. This is the additional gain to the firms, all right, by selling the equilibrium quantity at the market price. So here again, we want to look at the idea. It's the process, or not the process, the concept of the price on the supply function. So the prices on the supply function, what is it? Or what are they? They are the prices firms willing to sell. Firms willing to sell at the prices firms willing to sell for different quantities. So if you recall, the prices on the demand function, they are the prices that the consumer is willing to buy, right, at different quantities. On the other hand, the prices on the supply function are the prices firms willing to sell. Okay, because we're talking about firms are sellers. Firms willing to sell at or for different quantities. Now, the prices the firms willing to sell at different quantities are different than the prices the firm actually receive. Okay. Now, by selling XE, which is 1,000, how much is the price the firm receive? The firm will receive the price $5 for 1 kilogram of rice. So therefore, the revenue to the firm, the income, is equal to what? Is equal to the market price multiplied by the quantity, which is equal to 5 multiplied by 1,000. So the expenditure will be equal to what? To the revenue to the firm, so $5,000. So that is the expenditure. Okay. Now the expenditure to the firm is the 5,000. Okay. So what is the price firms are willing to sell at the different quantities? That would be what? That will be the price on the supply function. So if you look at the Q equal to 1, the prices firms willing to sell will be, say, equal to here, 50 cents. Okay. And suppose for the 5th kilogram, Q5 here, 1 ringgit. Now, these are the prices they are willing to sell at the different quantities. Okay. But when the firm sells 1,000 ringgit, they will get 5 ringgit for every unit. So for the first unit, okay, for the first unit, the firms are willing to sell at 50 cents. He will get what? He will get 5 ringgit. So what is the gain? So at x equal to 1, the gain to the firm will be equal to what? Be equal to 5 minus 0.5. That is 4.05. So that is the surplus to the firm. That is the surplus, the additional gain. Okay. Now, if you look at Q equal to 5 here, for the 5th unit, they are willing to sell at 1 ringgit. Okay. But how much they'll get? They get 5 ringgit. So that gain is 4 ringgit. So the total area, for each quantity here, that will be the total extra gain. And that is the producer supply. All right. So producer supply is the area between the market price and the supply function. From where? From 0 to the equilibrium quantity. So that the application on 13.4. So if you want to look at an example, the example of consumer surplus and producer surplus, let's look at example number 4. So go to the book 13.4. We'll see the consumer surplus. Example. So look at example 4, consumer surplus. So now you are given the demand function. All right. The market price is equal to 20. Now, what is the consumer surplus? So if you look at the diagram, you have the demand function. Okay. And then you have the supply function. Okay, the diagram in the diagram above that example. So the area between the demand function and the market price is the consumer supplies. All right, you see that? So you have the demand function or the supply, demand function is equal to 1020 over x plus 1. So what you got? You got something like this. You have this is x, that is the origin. You have a demand function like this. And the equilibrium price, suppose your supply function will look like this. Equilibrium price given here. Okay, equilibrium is given already $20. All right, so that is $20, the equilibrium price. Now, what you need to find is, of course, that quantity. Okay, how do you find that quantity? You have to find the quantity by just substituting the equilibrium price, because that is the point. Okay, you substitute equilibrium price 20 into the demand function. So to get XE, what do we do? We substitute the PE, which is 20, into the demand function. Now, if you look at that example, what do you get? We get x equal to 1020. 1020. No, it's not 1020. X equal to 50. You work that out. Okay, you look at that example, how they work out it. You got x e equal to 50. So that is 50. Now, consumer surplus is the area between the demand function here and the market price. So that is our produced consumer surplus. Okay, so consumer surplus is simply the integral, okay, from 0 to the equilibrium quantity of the demand function. Okay, demand function is a function of x minus the integral from 0 to x e of the market price, which is 20. I think I'm going to write the price. Okay, so I write the formula so that we will remember PE dx, and that will be equal to the integral from 0 to 50. Okay, xe 50. The demand function 1020 divided by x plus 1 dx minus the integral from 0 to 50 of 20 dx. Okay, so what do we get? Integral of the 20 is very easy because that's just a constant function. That will be area of the rectangle. Now the integral of the demand function 1020 over x plus 1. How do we get that integral? X plus kena guna log. Kena guna log, you know. We didn't learn that log thing. So you know what? We don't have to do it. Okay, we stop here. But the thing is, we know the concept. Or you know, probably we will just change the function. So change the function into something else. Okay. Do you want to change the function, or we move on to another example? I think kita move on lah. Okay, we look at the other example. Look at example number 5. Okay, so this one you know, to integrate that you got a log function. So I didn't do log. So that part is just all right. But the idea here is what? Is in order for you to find the equilibrium, all right, you have to, I mean, for this one is just the consumer surplus. You are given the equilibrium price, so you have to get that thing, that xe, substitute back into the demand function, you get it. Okay, and consumer surplus is the area between. And of course, if there is a supply function, that will be our producer surplus. Now, unfortunately, the function is not something that we can do. So let's say what we can do, you know, you can change that function, but you want to change the function, you have to change everything, equilibrium. So let's say, all right, you can work this out probably when you go home. Okay, suppose the demand function is equal to demand function P equal to, we take it as an easy function, 3x minus 100, suppose, right? So given that one. So given this thing here, that means everything here will be changed. You need to find the new quantity. Okay, find this new quantity for that price 20, and then continue from it. Okay, demand function is that one. So you can do it at home. Okay, you finish that for homework. So that one, you finish it up. Okay, good. So that example number 4. We will continue. I mean, you continue at home. Demand price equal to 3x minus 100 to find the consumer surplus. Now we go on to example number 5. Example number 5 is not here. You are given the supply function, you are given the demand function, and the supply function is something that we can do, or we will do the consumer surplus, producer surplus. So look at example 5. So you have the demand function given by what? By the function f, and then you have the supply function, linear function x plus 1, where the price is p, quantity is x in terms of units. So you want to find the consumer surplus. Okay, find consumer surplus. So again, if you want to find the consumer surplus, you're given the demand function, you're given the supply function. What you need first is what? You need to find what? You need to find equilibrium. So you want to find this one, but the first thing that we need to do is what? Is getting the equilibrium. So you have the x here, the origin there, that's the price. You have the supply function equal to x plus 1. Supply function will be something like this. The demand function will be something like that. So in order for us to find the consumer surplus, because we know consumer surplus is the area between the demand function and the market price, from where? From 0 to xe. So you need that. So that is our consumer surplus. So first, you need to find what? Find the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Now, how to get that? It's very easy. You still recall, right? For equilibrium, what is the condition? The demand equals supply. Okay, so when demand equals supply, you have the square root of 49 minus 6x equal to x plus 1. So you bring the square root to the other side, the right will become square. So if you look at the book, you do this, you bring the square root over to the other side. Now I have x plus 1 to the power of. So you expand that the terms on the right, and then you have the quadratic equation. You find the root. So work that out, okay? But you will get x equal to 4 and negative 12. Now, negative 12, this one is not relevant in application. So what we will consider is only what? Is only x equal to 4. So therefore, x is only equal to 4. So that is our equilibrium quantity, 4. So this is 4. Okay. Now to find the price, again here we do the substitution. You substitute x equal to 4 into the demand function or the supply function. I think we do supply, easier to do. So what? So the equilibrium price will be equal to x into the supply function. Into the supply function, p equal to x plus 1 equal to 4 plus 1 equal to 5. So the price is equal to 5. Price equal to 5, quantity equal to 4. So this one is 5. Okay, all right. So now you got the equilibrium, we find the consumer surplus. So you do the consumer surplus. We have the formula, all right, equal to the integral from 0 to xe. Now you write this a few times, you know, we remember. The demand function. Mana pergi? Saya punya tadi tu. Okey. Dia hilang. So, just 1 minute. Kena buka balik. Macam mana dia boleh hilang? Alright. Apa yang saya pegang apa? So what you do, okay, to get the demand function, I mean not the demand function, is the consumer surplus is the area between the demand function. So that is the integral from 0 to xe. Now, can you see this now? Sharing it again. All right. So the integral from 0 to xe of the demand function, the x, okay, the x, you take out the integral from 0 to xe, the market price. And that would be equal to what? The demand function is square root 49 minus 6x. So 0 to price, quantity 4 of the demand function, 49 minus 6x to the power of a half, the x. You take out the integral from 0 to 4 of 5, the x. All right. So now, I want you to do this integral here. Okay? The demand function is not straightforward. You have to use the power rule. So do it now. Okay, get the integral for that demand function. You have to set the u equal to the terms in the bracket, and then see how can we get the u prime. Okay. So how do you get the u prime? Multiply by what? Okay, you're given that function here. You're given the function 49 minus 6x. The power is half. So what do we do in order to get the u prime? So you let the u be equal to what? Be equal to the terms in the bracket, which is 49 minus 6x. So therefore, u prime is -6. You are not given -6. You are only given 1. So what do you multiply that with in order to get the u prime? So for this one, okay, we need to do it separately. So 0 to 4 of 49 minus So when you do the integral, you don't need the interval. Okay, we just want to get the integral. So integral of 49 minus 6x. Okay, so multiply by apa ni? So you let u be equal to the 49 minus 6x. Okay, now what is u prime? U prime is -6. Okay, which is not what you have there. So what do you multiply that with in order to get the u prime?
-6/6.
Not -6/6. You multiply by -6 over what? If you multiply by -6/6, that will be equal to -1. All right? We cannot multiply by something that is equal to -1. You must multiply by something equal to what? Equal to 1. So it should be what? -6 over what? That should be equal to 1. You know? So multiply by -6 over. If you multiply by -6/6, that will be equal to -1. You need 1. So -6 over apa?
-6.
Over -6. Right? So make sure we by now, you know, we should know it, right? Should be equal to 1. So if you have a negative number, same. You have to multiply by the negative over the negative, so that you get 1. Okay. So don't ever do -6 multiply divide by 6. That will be wrong. Right? No, wrong. I'm sorry, wrong. Okay. All right. So good. So you multiply by -6 over -6. So you bring 1 to the outside. You got 1 over -6. Integral of 49 minus 6x dx. Now you got the u prime and u. Okay, u prime u. This is power of half. So the integral will be equal to -1/6. Okay, multiplied by 49 minus 6x to the power of half plus 1, that is 3/2. We divided by 3/2. So 3/2, 1/6, 3/2, that will be equal to 1/9. Okay, -1/9 equal everything. So now you got the integral of the first term. So now we continue. So that will be equal to the integral of this thing here. Okay, minus that 5. Okay, all right, good. So that will be equal to the, now you do already the integral of the demand function. That will be equal to -1/9. Okay, 49 minus 6x from 0 to 4. Okay, and then you have the integral of the equilibrium price, which is 5. So 5x from 0 to 4. Now that will be the thing. So you do the substitution. All right. Oh, here, no, this is 3/2. So you do the substitution, you get the value. You will get, if you look at the book, it's 4.22. So that is our consumer surplus. So now, okay, from here to 4.22, there are 2 more steps. Okay, there are 2 more steps at least. So I want you to do it, the steps. Okay, don't just give me the answer. Like in the exam, you know, I don't know. You know, some people, they never do the working, and suddenly they get the correct answer. So I just wonder, how do you get the correct answer without the working? Okay, so don't do that, all right? Because if you do that, I suspect you copy. Even though in Ramadan, I say the integrity rule is meaning nothing to some of us, we still copy. Okay, we still copy from people. So it means nothing. Some people, they just copy. Ramadan, no Ramadan, haram ke tak haram, they still copy. If you copy, meaning what? Meaning it's not fair. It's not fair to the others who don't copy. Because you get the answer ready-made from somebody without understanding. And some people who really work hard, okay, and you get free points, but I can know, okay, I know some people copy. Why? Because the way they write, the way they do it, it's not real, okay, it's not real. So I know some people copy, but I don't want to waste my time investigating. That will take time, So if you copy during the test, it's between you and Allah, all right? For me, I'm not happy, okay? I'm not happy because I know some people copy. So if I'm not happy with you, for those people who copy, uh, uh, I'm not happy, okay? But I know some people copy, and some people really do their own work, which is good, even though they might not get the correct answer, but they do it on their own. I will prefer those people, okay? Those people who got the wrong answer, but they work on their own, rather than people who get the right answer, they copy. They miss some step because they want to work very fast. They got the answer. They work fast, they skip a few steps, and suddenly you got the correct answer. So I know, okay, I know. Even though the video was on, but some people still copy. That one we cannot do anything, okay? But I know, okay? I know. Allah knows. So if you copy, you get good grade based on copying, no berkat, okay? There is no barakah in that. Because you don't know, okay? You don't know what you get. It's not what you know. What you get is what people know. So I'm not happy with, not all, a few people, which the copying is clear. Okay, so I think you know what. If you are copying, then you will feel it. If you don't, nothing against you. Okay, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking only about a few people who has the habit of copying. Even though it is online, you do it by yourself. We should have that integrity. We should work hard. Not working hard to copy, but working hard to get the knowledge. So I hope in the final, okay, this copy thing, will be minimized, because there is no way, there is no way for the teacher to check, So like I said, it's self-monitoring. But at the end of the day, if you copy, I still get the idea, I still know, we still have that sense. Because if you do copy from something, I know from the steps, from how you write it, it's not your own work. I know, okay? But there is no way for me to prove. So I don't want to waste my time, proving all these things. So I'm telling you, it's between you and Allah. Okay, we already make our, what we call it, our SOP, but still some people, they go against the SOP. That is not fair. Okay, that is not fair for your friends. I'm not talking about all, okay? I'm repeating myself. I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about only a few people, okay? A few people that I think clearly copy, all right? Okay, so let's continue. So you have the producer consumer surplus here. You finish up the steps, then you get the value. So that is the consumer surplus. Now we want to do the producer surplus. Okay, the producer surplus is what? Is the area between the market price, okay, the market price, and the supply function. So if you look at the producer surplus, as we know, it's the integral from 0 to the equilibrium quantity of the market of the price, dx, and the integral from 0 to x e, the supply function. Okay, supply function. And that will be equal to, since we already have the equilibrium, so the integral from 0 to 4 of the market price, 5 dx, minus the integral from 0 to 4 of the supply function. Now, what is the supply function? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, supply function. Supply function is x equal to 1. Okay, here, nothing difficult. Everything is simple. So you can do it directly, all right? So what you can do, you can combine the two functions. That will be equal the integral from 0 to 4 of 5 minus x minus 1 dx. So I got here 4 minus x, right? So that will be equal to 4 minus x. So I go up there. Integral from 0 to 4 of 4 minus x dx. And then you can work this out. I don't think that'll be difficult. Okay, so finish this out. Okay, finish out. Okay, now finish out this one. Okay, this is very simple. I want to get the answer so that for those people who still cannot do it, they will do it at home later. But we give the answers. Okay, we give the value so that we have we have something to show. Okay, can you finish up that integral and see what is the value? So for what? 5 minus x plus 1, so minus x minus 1. So you got 4 minus x. So 4 minus x, you integrate that, you will get 4x minus x squared over 2. Okay, finish it up. So what is the value? 4 multiplied by 4 minus 4 squared over 2. So you got 16 minus 16 over 2. You got 16 minus 16 over 2, 8. So equal to 8. Betul tak? You got 8?
Yes.
You work out, kita akan dapat 8. Alright, the value is 8. So for those who have not finished, you go home, finish it up. We should get 8. Alright, the integral of that thing. So that is consumer surplus, producer surplus. Okay, siap lah. So there will be another example on the, example 8 actually is this one, okay? We already combined together. So example number 8 on the producer surplus is actually what we are doing now. Okay? We combine the two things. So that will be it, okay? That will be it on 13.4. 13.4, I will give you some questions. So let's see. Consumer surplus, producer surplus. So kita tengok ada question ni. Demand function, supply function. So on the consumer surplus, do number 17. Number 17, lepas tu number 22. Okay, 22 you'll find the consumer surplus. So number 22, because you are given the supply, you are given the demand. So 22 you find both. Okay, consumer surplus, producer surplus. The question today asks you only to find the consumer surplus. So what do you do? And then the producer surplus, do question number 32. Okay, 32. 31 pun boleh jawab. 32, same thing. You find producer surplus, consumer surplus. Pokok lah. Bisa tu. Maybe do one more. 27. Okay, do something. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we are going to do the. I'm going to give you one group homework. Dalam tak buat group homework. So now the group homework number 2. The group homework number 2. You do that question. Demand function, supply function. Demand function, supply function. Okay, I want you to do question number 24. Okay, question number 24. All right, question number 24. You find the consumer surplus and also the producer surplus. Okay, so find both. And this is homework number 2. Homework number apa? This is group homework number 2. Okay, group homework number 2. Okay, homework I give you already in class homework ada 2 kan? In class homework ada 2, but the class homework is more of a bonus homework because I didn't announce. So the proper homework will be homework number 2 here. Okay, group homework. Now, what I would like you to do, like I said earlier, you know, if you have the group, 1% right, okay, 1% right. So this time the person who prepare the first one for this one, let your friend prepare. But when you submit, okay, when you submit, you submit macam you submit by the first group. You submit like how you submit the first homework. That means use the name, okay? Use the name as the person who submitted the first homework. So that I know your group is easy for me to grade, okay? So you submit by the person, okay? By the person yang submit the first homework. So that the name will be in the same order. Easy for me lah to record the name. Okay, all right. And then, since I was talking about your name, there are still a few people, you know, a few people. You make me difficult, you know. I'm going to deduct your points, okay? I'm going to deduct some points. For example, your name is Ehsan. Okay, your name is Muhammad Ehsan. But in the classroom or in the Zoom, you put Ehsan. So now I have a problem to locate your name. Is your name under Ehsan? I go to under I couldn't find your name because your name has a Muhammad. So like I said earlier, when you put your name in the order of your name that appear in your registration. If your name is Muhammad Ehsan, you put in the Zoom or you put in the classroom, you put the Muhammad first, and then Ehsan, not Ehsan, because I have a problem, okay? Another example, your name is Taufik. Your name is not Taufik, your name is Ahmad Taufik. And you put only Taufik. So I have a problem locating where is your name. You know, if there is only one person, which is you, then senang lah. But I have hundreds of people, okay? So that's why I want you to write, when you do it, you put Ahmad first, okay? And then Taufik. So that's easy for me, okay? Lagi seorang, Nurul. There are so many Nurul here, you know, Nurul, apa benda nama Nurul Hafizah ke? Okay, this is just example, okay, not your real name. Probably I cannot remember everybody's name. Now, you put Hafizah, you know, but your name is not Hafizah, your name is Nurul Hafizah. So I have to locate again. So you are wasting my time. I have to grade many people, not just you, okay? So I have to locate. So in the final, okay, because in the midterm I have this problem. So in this homework, I hope this one will be corrected. Now in the final, if you still put your name as per what it is now, okay, I have to locate your first name. I will deduct mark. Okay, I will deduct mark for my time to find your proper name. So if you just your name Ehsan, then I got to find actually your name is Muhammad. So I got to locate your name. So I will deduct mark. Okay, I'll deduct marks because I remind many times already. But still, there are some people, either you are absent during my announcement, or you don't understand, you know, what I say. I don't know, or you just want to, you know, you just want to be stubborn. Okay, because there are some people they just want to be stubborn. That's their hobby. Sometimes to be stubborn is good, you know. But when you are stubborn at the wrong time, the wrong place, itu kerja 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 tak tahu nak cakap, okay? So kerja nanti saya cakap nanti tak suka pula, alright? So you want to be stubborn, that's good, you know. But stubborn when you do this thing, you know, be the right time, right place. Ini degi tentu pasal ni pun masalah juga. Okay. So that will be consumer surplus, producer surplus. That will be the end of chapter number 13. So number 13, we learn only up to that point. Okay, 13.4. And the application on 13.4 is only the consumer surplus, producer surplus. Okay, all right. Okay, what I would like to do next, you know, something that I did not cover earlier is the elasticity. Elasticity. Saya cari elasticity. I think elasticity ni, elasticity, the concept is on the derivative. Derivative ni chapter berapa? Go back to the chapter. Elasticity. Hmm. 7 to 5. Hai. Chapter berapa? Chapter number ni kan? Chapter 11. Chapter 11. Okay, chapter number 11. 11.5. 11.5, you will see the elasticity of demand. And then you have also the elasticity of supply. Elasticity of demand is supply. But the book only have elasticity of demand. So that is on chapter number 11. Okay, so go back to chapter number 11. Look at the elasticity. Now, what is elasticity? Now, elasticity, the basic concept that is related to that elasticity is the slope. Okay, the slope. It is not exactly slope, but in order for us to get that elasticity, you need to understand slope, because that is the basis. Now you look at the definition. You know, what is elasticity? Elasticity is economic concept. So we're looking at elasticity here. All right, elasticity of demand. Now, elasticity of demand, it's like, it's based on what? Based on the slope. Now, if you remember slope of the demand function, let's say demand function, here you use Q. Okay, the book use Q, or sometimes they use that. So Q as a function of P. Okay, so Q function of P. When you do the consumer surplus, okay, when we do the consumer surplus, we look at P function of X. Or we can use quantity as Q, P function of Q. For the elasticity of demand, we use Q as a function of P. So if you recall the slope, okay, the slope of the demand function, dq dp, or delta q delta p. Okay, the basic explanation, the basic description of the slope. What is it? Anybody remember? The slope, basic. You know, we don't need to use the non-linear or whatever. Just the basic linear function. What is the slope? How do you define? How do you describe the slope? Macam ni, delta q over delta p. Cepatlah. What changed by 1 unit? Which variable changed by 1 unit? And what happened to the other variable? Somebody, please. Okay, how? Wait, cepat. Okay, Putri Rashidah. Okay, how do you describe ni? Benda ni. Delta P, delta Q, delta P. In terms of the change. Okay, Huzaifah. In terms of the change, okay, come on, quickly. What change? What variable change, and then what is the effect on the other variable? Okay, Huzaifah. All right, Kian, Yao Yu. Kian. Is it Kian? Okay, cepat. Ni, benda ni. You know, you don't have to to interpret as the non-linear function, just go back to the basic linear. You know, what is the slope here? How do you describe the slope? Irfan. Okay, siapa-siapa lah. Cepat-cepat. Okay, cepatlah. No, Izatul Nabila. Are you, can you hear me or you don't hear me? Saya duk cakap seorang ke ni or you there? Semua main diam ni. Okay, Izatul. So here, you know what is the variable that changed by 1 unit?
Price.
When the price increased by 1 unit, what happened to the quantity?
Increased by 1 unit.
The quantity increased by the amount of the slope. All right. So here, the quantity or what? So when you talk about the slope, you are talking about if the price increases by 1 unit, what happened to the quantity? Okay, what is the increase in the quantity? And the increase in the quantity is given by the slope. So you got delta Q over delta P. That's the change in unit. Now, when you look at elasticity, it is not the change by the price, the change in the price by 1 unit. We're looking at 1% change. So 1% increase or 1% change. All right. So the unit change, all right, the unit change is different. For the slope, we are talking about 1 unit. Okay, let's say kilogram, 1 kilogram, or pair, 1 pair. In elasticity, we are looking at what? We're not looking at the unit of the variable. You're looking at 1% change. Okay, so if there is 1% increase in the price, okay, if there is a 1% increase in the price, then you want to find what is the change in the Q, also in what? In percent, not in units. Okay, so that is the difference. It is based on slope, but the difference here is we're looking at percentage. So when you look at percentage, then you can relate the change in any good. So you can relate or you can compare the change in the demand or the change in the market of what? In the market of shoes, which is pair, and in the market of petrol, which is liter. You know, if you use liter and pairs, you cannot compare. But now we use percent. So when you use percent, the unit now is percentage, just in percent. So you can make the comparison. So if the price, say, of petrol increased by 1%, then what is the change in the quantity? All right, in also percentage. If you are talking about the shoes, okay, if the price of shoes increased by 1%, then what is the change in the quantity? Will also be in percent. Okay, all right. Now, for example, if you look at the book, the notation will be the symbol benda tu. All right. Now, let's say, okay, let's say, I give you 5%. Elasticity is equal to 5. So normally we write elasticity equal to 5. Now, what does it mean? It means 5%. Okay, it means 5%. Now, what does it mean? It means that if the price increased by 1%, then the change in the quantity, the percentage increase in the quantity, will be equal to what? Will be equal to the value of the elasticity. Then the change in the quantity here will be equal to what? Will be equal to 5. Okay, so the percentage change. Here for the Q, normally we use the change because it can be negative. Yes? So change here. And then here you got 5, so that means we increase. All right. So if the price increased by 1%, then what about the demand? The demand will increase by 5%. Of course, elasticity, we're talking about the change in percentage. The price increase 1%, the demand will increase by 5%. Okay, you understand? If the elasticity is equal to 2, okay, what does it mean?
2%.
Yeah, 2%. So what does it mean? What is the change and the change in terms of this one? If the price increased by 1%, then what about the demand? The demand will increase by how much?
1%.
The demand will increase by 1%. Mana pula 1%? I write 2. The demand will increase by how much? By 2%. Okay? So here 2 means 2%. Right? So 2% meaning if the price goes up by 1%, the demand will increase by 2%. Okay? So that is the elasticity. Now, based on that, that will be the definition of elasticity. It's the percentage change, okay, percentage change in the demand quantity divided by percentage change in the price. All right? Now, how do you measure percentage change? Percentage change is the change in the quantity divided by the quantity, divided by the change in the price divided by the price. So that is percentage. Okay. If the quantity increases, okay, from 80 to 82, 85, then you know the change is what? The increase is 5. But in percentage, how do you measure it in percentage? It's just equal to what? It's just equal to 5, okay, which is the change in the Q here, 5. You divide by what? Divide by 80. Okay. Then you get percentage. And then you multiply by 100. You get percentage. So on the bottom, you multiply by 100. On the top, you multiply by 100. So you got percentage. So it's just what? It's just a fraction. You multiply by 100, you get percent. So 5 over 80, that will be equal to whatever the fraction is. Multiply by 100, you get percentage. Now, that 100 and 100 cancel out. So what do I get? I get delta Q over Q divided by delta P over P. Now, what is delta Q and delta P? Okay, how do you measure the change? I measure the change, okay, like this. Delta Q over delta P, no, delta Q. We know the change is Q2 minus Q1. Okay, that's the basic change. Or P2 minus P1. Now, when you do this thing here, we want to measure, we want to use the derivative. So this one is different thing, okay? We want to use the derivative. So when you want to use the derivative, you use dq over q divided by dp over p. That will be equal to dq dp p over q. Okay. All right. Or you know what? Since I use small q today, yeah. If you use book, they use small q. So you change everything to that small q. So that will be equal to dq. Okay, now we use the small q, dq dp, p over q. So if you look at here, this is the derivative. That is the slope. Okay, this is q prime. In other words, the slope, okay, the slope of the demand function. So you get the elasticity, we need the slope. Now the slope multiplied by what? Multiplied by P over Q. Okay, P over Q. So that would be the elasticity. So when you have the value, how is it explained? It's in terms of the percentage change. So we describe it in terms of the definition. Percentage change in the price, and then what happened to the quantity? Okay, what happened to the quantity? We want to see the change in the quantity in terms also in percentage, and that will be given by what? By the value of the elasticity. So if I go back to what we have earlier, if N is equal to 2, elasticity is equal to 2, elasticity of demand is equal to 2, what does it mean? It means that if the price increased by 1%, the demand will go up by how much? By 2%. Okay, they don't write 2%. Normally they give you only the number 2. But when you talk about elasticity, that is what? That is in terms of percentage. All right, any question, Ellen? Okay, I give you another example. Let's say this is equal to negative 3.5. What does it mean?
Negative 3.5%.
I know, negative 3.5%. Okay, now what is the relationship in terms of the change of the price and the demand?
If price increased by 1%, the demand increased by negative 3.5%.
Good, that's it. Okay, if the price goes up by 1%, the demand will go down by 3.5%. Okay, all right. Sometimes normally we say when the price goes up by 1%, but we can also reverse it. Okay, we can also say if the price goes down by 1%, then what about the demand? The demand will go up by 3.5%. But normally sometimes normally we say increase in the price, but sometimes we can also use the decrease in the price. So like the basic concept that we discussed long time ago, if you have a negative value, that means the direction of the movement is opposite. All right. So we can say that if the price decreases by 1%, then the demand will what? Then the demand will increase by 3.5%. Or if the price goes up by 1%, the demand will go down by 3.5%. Okay. All right. I think we have seen enough example. So now let us consider one example where we want really to compute the value. So we look at example number 1. Okay, example number 1, you are given the demand function. I want to find the elasticity at the point, at given point. So let's consider that example. So you look at example number 1, right? You're given the demand function P plus 5Q equal to 100. So now you remember for the demand function, what you need is dq dp multiplied by P over Q. That is elasticity. So what I need is dq dp. All right. So if you look at the demand function there, you are given P plus 5Q equal to 100. So what you do, you need to write Q in terms of P. So you bring the P to the other side. You've got 100 minus P. So Q is equal to what? 100 minus P, everything divided by 5. So that is equal to 100 divided by 5. That is 20 minus 5 P over 5. So that is the demand function. Okay, we need the demand function like this because you want to find dq dp. Okay, so you got that. Okay, all right. So now what is dq dp? dq dp is equal to negative 1 over 5. All right, so it's just a constant. So now what you want to do here, I want to find the elasticity for A, all right, when the price equal to 40. So when the price equal to 40, that will be equal to the price given in the formula. So that price 40 is that thing. Okay, now I need to find the Q. So what is the Q? What is the value of that Q? You know, for P is 40, right? But Q, what is it? How do you get that Q? How do you get the Q? There is only one information here, you know, which you should use. What is the, how do you get the Q?
Substitute in function.
Substitute into the demand function. Okay, so to get the Q, you substitute that P, which is equal to 40 into the Q, equal to 20 minus 40 over 5. That is equal to 12. Right, 12. 40 over 5 is 8. So kita dapat 12. So that Q is equal to 12. So Q equal to 12, that is the one that you put in. So therefore, the elasticity, now this is at P equal to 40. Okay, at P equal to 40, the elasticity is equal to negative 1 over 5. You multiply by 40 over 12. You will get, if you look at the book, negative 2 over 3. So negative 2 over 3, you can convert to percentage. All right, one more thing. Now, for elasticity of demand, why do I get negative value? Why you get negative value for elasticity of demand?
Inverse relationship of price and demand.
Because the demand is negatively sloped. Okay, so the demand negative slope. The demand, and for the demand, the price and quantity inverse relationship. So that's why the demand elasticity, you'll get negative value. Why? Because of the demand function. All right, so you get negative. That means there will be always changes, opposite direction. So the example that I give you, the two example is just an example. The third example is the one that is really related to demand. Okay, the first example though is just to get the idea of the demand function. You know, actually, if you look at the demand, that is not right. Okay, but we just want to look at the concept. So demand function, the elasticity is negative. Okay, all right. Now, if you look at part B, okay, look at part B. I want to find the elasticity of demand at where? When the price equal to 60. Okay, so when the price equal to 60, what you do next is that you get the quantity. Okay, so you substitute P equal to 60 into that Q. Okay, so that you get Q equal to 20 minus 60 over 5. Now 60 over 5, apa dapat 60 over 5? 60 over 5, 12. That is equal to 8.
8. Oh, yeah, 8. Sama.
8 kan? Okay, 8. So now, you compute the elasticity. Okay, so therefore our elasticity is equal to the slope do not change, which is negative 1 over 5. Right? You multiply by the price. Price now is 60. Divided by the corresponding Q, that will be equal to 8. Okay? So what you get will be negative 3 over 2. I got this from the book. Okay, negative 3 over 2. Or negative 1 over 5. negative 1.5. So you see here, the elasticity at different prices, different quantities, elasticity will be different. Okay, even though if you look at the slope is the same. Okay, the slope is the same everywhere. Why? Because the demand function is a linear demand function. The slope is negative 1.5, 1/5. But elasticity, they are different at different points. So you can finish up. You go home, you finish up in part C. Yeah? All right, part C when the price equal to 50. So that will give you another elasticity. Okay, all right. So what I would like you to do, maybe next class we will look at the elasticity and revenue. Okay, how elasticity relate to revenue. That I think is a practical concept. Okay, elasticity and revenue. So I think we'll stop here. You for now, okay, for now you do part C, all right, and then there were a few things that you need to finish. I give you earlier, I give you the consumer supplies, process supplies. So for the homework for this part, I'll give you on Wednesday. Okay, I think I'll stop here. I will see you again on Wednesday. And see what, how much time you have. This is, we have 2 more weeks, right? Including this week, 2 more weeks. Is that right? 2 more weeks.
Yes.
So next thing that I want to cover is the Lagrangian. So let's see how much time we have for the matrices. Okay, so I think I'll stop here. I will see you again. Have a nice.
Sir.
Yeah.
So when do you want us to submit the homework to?
Oh yeah. The homework 2 tu. Okay, homework 2 tu you buat dulu. On Wednesday tu, Wednesday I give you. Okay, I give you the deadline on Wednesday. Because
okay.
actually I haven't thought about the deadline yet actually. So I give you Wednesday. All right.
Right, sir.
Because maybe on Wednesday I will add one more question, so that will be our last homework. Okay. All right. I think consumer supplies for process supplies pun okay lah tu. So deadline I give you on Wednesday. Okay. Saya pun tak fikir give deadline. Okay. All right.
Почему здесь-то забегали все как тараканы перед самым моим приездом?
Tu cakap benda tu.
Считаю, что вы сделали заложниками
Awak cakap apa tu?
Kali.
Sebelah apa?
жадности.
Bahasa Hindustan ke? Okay. I will see you again.
Собственники
Assalamualaikum.
с собой не
Tu bahasa benda tu.
Hello, thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Today the weather is good. It's not so hot. It's not raining, and it is not that hot.